From the Startup Experts community, this is the Becoming Better podcast, and I'm its host, Jesse Freese. Sreyas, it's so nice to have you on the Becoming Better with Startup Experts podcast. Really excited to sit down with you in particular because you were one of the 25 leaders chosen earlier this year to be celebrated. So would you mind introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey to date?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I stumbled upon recruiting probably 12 years ago, as I think a lot of people do, and it's led me through some really amazing stories of scale. So kind of started in recruiting in my early agency days, which again, I think people can probably relate to, and then moved my way into just the tech scene in Atlanta with some really amazing startups, like Full Story and Pindrop. And then currently, I'm at Stay AI as their head of people and talent. So yeah, that's kind of been my journey of like just talent, and then now really owning kind of all of people and talent, which has been a really, really fun experience.
That's great, yeah, and I can relate too, because I started my career in recruiting and talent as well. I think that's a common entry point for a lot of people in the HR space. Mm-hmm. You mentioned you're with an AI company, so I can't resist but ask, because AI is so fascinating to all of us these days. What is your company focused on?
Yeah, so we are specifically focused on, when you think about subscription products on Shopify, right? Like amazing brands out there where things you have on Subscribe, we're really like modernizing that subscriber product company relationship. So really taking on all things retention and loyalty and growth so that that customer who's building the product, they can innovate on whatever it is, whether it's supplements or specialty waters, whatever it is, that they can give back to their subscriber. And we're taking care of the sort of managing the loyalty, retention, growth, and making sure the subscriber feels really, really loved.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Love to see all the applications of AI and how companies are embracing it.
Yes.
Would you share, maybe something that you've learned recently? So much of this group is about learning and lifting up each other. And so I really want to focus on this conversation on, what is, maybe something that you can share back to the team?
Yeah. I was thinking about this one, and I think something in particular that I wish I had done earlier on in my career, and I sometimes post about this on LinkedIn, is finding your community as soon as you can, right? And I think oftentimes, I probably waited because I thought, I need to be at a certain level in my career. I need to be head of, before I start feeling like I'm able to join these communities. And I would just like anyone, especially starting their career or just really curious, find those opportunities, whether it's in-person, virtual, startup experts, other, communities, like I'm part of Silo as well. Just find those communities sooner so you can learn, because no one knows everything. You can be the CEO of a company and you still are learning. So that's something that I think I wish I had done sooner.
Yeah, no, I mean, such great advice. A couple weeks ago, I was talking about this actually at another conference on the idea of cognitive offloading and the idea that there's so much data out there and one human can't simply retain it all, but being able to have the tools or know where to go to be able to access knowledge and particularly experience, say in a group like Startup Experts, is so valuable. So certainly support and applaud what you're encouraging.
What you don't know, you learn, right? So.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, what excites you? We had 2025 has been an amazing year. There's so much going on, as we talked pre-call here. It's almost wrapped up. Like, what are you looking to now, or even in 2026 that you're excited to lean into?
Yeah, I think so. I actually attended like a small dinner with Zapier a week ago, and that really got me thinking, because we were just talking about how everybody at a company should adopt that builder mindset, right? And I think we often see something and maybe we see a gap, or we just kind of say, okay, well, maybe that's not exactly in my purview or in my field of sort of expertise. But I think if everyone, through AI, right, there's so many tools out there that I'm learning about, like Lovable and, and all these things where, you don't have to be an engineer to actually build some customizations for yourself. So those are the things I'm thinking about as a people leader, is how do I empower the people, the employees at our company, to all put that builder hat on, because that amplifies the sort of the direction and the growth of the company.
Got it. I want to put a pin in it because I hadn't heard of Lovable. Tell me more about what that is.
Yeah, so I was actually introduced, well, actually, the name came up in one of our conversations. So our VP of marketing was mentioning just building out a lot of interesting sort of like automations for marketing through Lovable. So essentially, it's empowering anyone, like basically who's not an engineer, to build, whether, with some like light scripting, just, kind of tools and automations that's going to make their day-to-day easier. So I haven't actually dug into the product, but it came up in our conversations. And so I'm excited to kind of research that and see, okay, what can I do on the people front?
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. We have a Friday roundtable that meets once a month that's on and focused on AI. And so I'll send that to that team. They're always looking at new systems and programs in the AI space, and some of the outcomes have been fascinating. I always love to listen to the recordings, even though I can't usually attend. Curious about hindsight and 2020. I've had a long career. You are embarking on a long career. Is there anything that you've encountered where you wish you'd done better? And so, I asked that question because there's so many individuals in our group that are starting on that glide path of building a lengthy career. And I would like to help them. If they encounter something that perhaps we can guide them around instead of over, that would be great. Anything come to mind?
Yeah. Don't doubt yourself is like the first thing that comes to mind. I think like at any career point that I've been at, like we all are good at something. We're all like great at something. We all have weaknesses. Yes, I understand. I see those as growth paths, right? Like not weaknesses. We can all grow, but we all have special talents, right? And I think like when you ask yourself that question, like I would ask yourself that every day, weekly, especially if you're starting your career, what's that special talent that I never want to lose, right? Through the course of your career journey, and really like lean into that, right? And really use that sort of skill and grow that. So I think that's one thing that I would say to anyone, whether they're emerging in their career or they're mid-career or late career, know that talent and hone it and use it and lean in, whether it's, you're advising your founder, on something, or whether you feel really specifically, about a certain, new sort of emerging technology, whatever it is. I would say know your talent and don't lose that, what makes you uniquely special.
That is so good. I love that. Amazing to sit down with you. I didn't have a hand actually in selecting any of the 25 leaders to follow in 2025. There's actually a group of other members in the community, but just in this brief conversation, I can entirely see why you were nominated and selected. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Before we end this short chat, is there anything else that you feel you'd like to share out? How can people get in touch with you? Would love to keep the conversation going with other members in the group.
Yeah. Well, I am fairly responsive on LinkedIn. It takes me a little time sometimes because, just with some messaging and just my own busyness of my day, but I am always willing to help. Like that is, I feel like something I'm really passionate about. So if someone out there especially is thinking about, either something like what I've gone through, right? I've been in talent, I'm going into people, or I want to enter startups, or I'm dealing with, just message me and, I think my information's updated in the directory. And I'm happy to help and sort of provide advice or insights. I'm an open book. So if someone reaches out to me and asks me a question, I'm like, that's kind of what I love. I love helping others.
That's great. No, I appreciate you. And again, just congratulations on being selected and thank you for sitting down.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this Becoming Better with Startup Experts discussion. If you're interested in learning more about our community and perhaps joining, please visit www.startupexperts.us.